Srimad Bhagavatam 5:14-42. Tasyedam upagayanti Arshabhasyeha rajarsher Manasapi mahatmanah Nanuvartmarhati nirpo Makshikeva garutmatah. Tasya of Jada Bharat. Idam, this glorification. Upagayanti, they sing. Arshabhasya, of the son of Rishabhadev. Iha, here. Raja Risheh. Raja Risheh, of the great saintly king. Manasa api, even by the mind. Maha Atmanah, of the great personality Jadabharata. Na, not. Anuvartma arhati, able to follow the path. Nirpa, any king. Makshika, a fly. Iva, like. Garutmatah, of Garuda, the carrier of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This word here, Raja. So, you know Sandhi in Tamil? What do you call it? Join. Two words join. What do you call it? There are rules for that? No rules in Tamil. Do you know any rules? Very good. Huh? When two words are joining, how to join? Are there joint words in Tamil? Do they have joint words in Tamil?
Yes.
Two words join. Later you tell me examples, okay? What example?
Garuda.
Huh?
Garuda.
Garudalvar. Well, it's kind of Sanskrit. Anyway, I want more Tamil, pure Tamil joint words. Raja and Risheh. Here you see the Risheh. R with the dot below. That is R in the vowels. Not the R. That looks like two sign. It's not that R. That is Ra. That is a consonant. It's a semi-vowel. Semi-consonant. But this R is in the vowels. R, E, E. R. So that's where it comes. But when you join it, Rajarshe, if you see in the verse, the R will have no dot. Let's see. You see, R has no dot. Rajarshe. And Raja, you see, R here ends with R. Here ends with H with a dot. That is actually Visarga. Aha. Rishe. But in the Sandhi, Risher Manasapi. Risher Manasapi. It's not Rishe Manasapi. So, sometimes actually this is important in pronunciation. Yesterday, the Prabhu shared, you saw that message. And other times also, Prabhupada stressed on the learning the pronunciation from the diacritics. He said, I'm doing this diacritics for this reason, please put effort. He was telling him on lecture. So the reason, because if even a little bit changed, the meaning can completely change. I'll give you an example. Every morning we sing, no? Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado. After that, the next line, many devotees sing, Yasya prasadat nagati kutopi. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado, yasya prasadat nagati kutopi. What is wrong in that? You know what is wrong? Yasya prasadat means by whose mercy? Bhagavat prasad. We can get Krishna's mercy. Then the next line, if I say Yasya prasadan nagati hukutoti, by his mercy, I will be lost. I will be a lost soul. It is Yasya prasadan nagati hukutoti. Yasya aprasadan. When he is not satisfied, when I don't have his mercy, then I will be a lost soul. But if I say Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasad, Yasya prasadan, what am I actually singing? By his mercy, I will get Krishna's mercy. By his mercy, I will be a lost soul. I'm insulting my guru there. Correct? Of course. So in this way, I have to understand what when I pronounce it correctly, then I also know what I'm saying. Correct? As I'm saying, I should know what I'm saying. So when I'm singing, I should actually think, like Prabhupada mentioned in that quote again. Very beautiful quote. So many nice things in that one quote. Respecting the guru or anybody means to think of their activities, to meditate, to remember their activities. Like Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini. He is preaching the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings in the Western world. Paschatya Deshatarani. Nirvishesha Shunyavadi. Paschatya Deshatarani. So he is fighting this Nirvishesha Shunyavadi. He is destroying Nirvishesha, and that means Buddhist philosophy, which is zero, everything zero. Put that mridanga properly. You see on the edge, the mridanga is on the edge. Move a little bit, it will fall down. And look at the top one, how it is there. Properly. It is just, it will pierce, one day it will pierce and make a hole in the mridanga. So, Buddhist philosophy, which is Shunyavad, where everything ultimately becomes zero. Or Nirvishesha. Nirvishesha means what actually? Nirvishesha means what? Impersonalism? Yes, but why? Why Nirvishesha is impersonalism? Person means Purusha or Vyakti. So Avyakta it should be, right? Impersonal. Why Nirvishesha? Vishesha means special. Variety. Variety. Vishesha means variety and also special. So Krishna, everything is full of variety in the spiritual world. It's not that everything is just zero. There's no. So just like here, there is everything. Form is there. Varieties of forms. They say Nirgun Nirakar. Nirguna means there is no guna. The absolute truth has no qualities, has no form. So there's no variety. Nothing. It's just a blank void. So that is not the case. So Nirvishesha means what is that? Full of variety. Nih prefix is, how to say, can have two meanings. Nirvishesha means what is it? Audio not good? I'm doing the same thing as I do every time. Okay, so Nih, there is a, let's see the prefix Nih. You see Nih without in this verse, but there's a verse which talks about Nih prefix in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, 24.18. This is from which book? Vishwa Prakash Dictionary. Okay, so this is another dictionary. Vishwa Prakash Dictionary. Nirnishchaye nishkramarthe nirnirmana nishedhayoh grantho dhanetha sandarbhe varna sangrathane picha. The prefix nih, when you add a prefix nih to any word, so that prefix nih may be used for a sense of ascertainment, gradation, construction, or forbidding. The word grantha means riches, thesis, and composition. So nirgrantha is explained. But you see, ascertainment, gradation, construction, or forbidding. So here, forbidding is the meaning here. Nirvishesha means there's no vishesha, forbidding of vishesha. There's no variety. But also like nirakar. Nirakar means no akar. But you know the other meaning of the word nirakar? This ascertainment. You know what is ascertainment? What is that word? Nishreyasaya. Shreya means ultimate good. For example, the child wants to play. He wants to be happy in the moment. Whereas the parents say, no, you study so that you can be happy further in life, like when you grow up. So child only sees that is preya. Now I want to be happy. Shreya means in the future, if I can take a little bit trouble now to study, then future I may be more comfortable in life. So that is Shreya. Nishreya means the ultimate good. Because even that is also not ultimate, right? Because one day we're going to die, and what after that? What is the ultimate good? So Nishreyasa, that word is used in our translation. You know that word? Nishreyasaya vishaya kalu sarvatasya. We'll go there. Okay, Nishreyasa karavabhav. Okay. So let's see here. Okay, you see Nishreyasa, for the highest welfare, for the highest good. You see, for Nishreyasa, the final perfection of life, ultimate perfection. So Nishreyasa, Nih means also ultimate, superlative degree, like good, better, best, ascertainment, the gradation, the best in that. So Nih can also be in that. So Nirakar means one meaning is no akar, one meaning is the highest akar, the best form. So Krishna is Nirakar, yes, he is Nirakar. And it means that he has no form of this material world. He has no material form. So that means he has no form that can be found in this material world. But he has a Sachidananda Vigraha. Vigraha means form. And every part of his body is perfectly formed, perfectly symmetrical, and perfectly formed. Everything is perfect. And that is Nirakar, the highest akar. So that's the other meaning of the word Nirakar. So Nih means these two things. So Nir can be used for Nishchaya, ascertainment, Kramarthe, the gradation, like good, better, best, especially the best. Nirmana means to construct. In that way, Nir can be used, prefix. Nishedha, that is also Ni. Nishedha means forbidding. So in that way, we can understand. So where was I actually? 5. This 5 doesn't work. 5. Okay. So anyway, I should understand these things. So Nirvishesha. So that's why that word meaning is. So in that way, Paschatya Deshatharana. So paying obeisances means to remember some of their activities. So every appearance and disappearance day of Acharyas, we try to remember some of their activities, pastimes. So why? Because the qualities of pure devotees, when we remember them, then we associate with the pure devotee. Or if I think of the qualities of some materialist, I associate with the materialist. That's why it is said here. (11:28) Srimad Bhagavatam. Parasvabhava karmani yah prashamsati nindati sa ashubhrashyate swarthad asatya bhiniveshatah. Whoever indulges in praising or criticizing the qualities and behavior of others will quickly become deviated from his own best interest by his entanglement in illusory dualities. Please don't sleep. When we praise or criticize the qualities of others, we have to think of those qualities. in order to praise or criticize. Right? So in that way, we are associating with those qualities. We will quickly become, if I praise a materialist for his materialistic thing, we can quickly become deviated because I may think those things are good. Or if I criticize something material from a material platform, then I will also, I'm thinking of that person. If I hate somebody really badly, so actually I'm thinking of that person so often that I really, every time I think of that person did this, that person did that. I'm always thinking of that person. So in my mind, it's a torment. It's a storm I'm dealing with. Whether that person is, he is nicely happy, he is doing whatever. But my mind is tormented because I'm thinking like this. And it affects. So I'm associating with the qualities of such person. So whether I praise or criticize, I quickly become deviated. Then should we praise the pure devotees then? Or should we criticize the materialistic way of life then? Okay. That is explained here. I don't know if this was. I think 6. Yes. सात्विकान्येव सेवेत पुमान् सत्त्व विवृद्धये ततो धर्मस्ततो ज्ञानं यावत् स्मृतिरपोहनम्. Okay, this is related, but it's not. I think 11:13:8 probably is the verse. Or is it 4 or 5? Yeah, this is the one. तत्तत् सात्विकमेवैषां यद्यद् वृद्धाः प्रचक्षते निन्दन्ति तामसं तत्तद् राजसं तत् उपेक्षितम्. Now praising, criticizing we saw, right? Now you see here. Among the 10 items I have just mentioned, the great sages who understand Vedic knowledge have praised and recommended those that are in the mode of goodness, criticized and rejected those in the mode of ignorance, and shown indifference to those in the mode of passion. 10 things. What are the 10 things? It's a very important verse actually. Just briefly go through the 10 things. आगमोपः प्रजादेशः कालः कर्म च जन्म च ध्यानं मंत्रोऽथ संस्कारो दशैते गुणहेतवः. गुणहेतवः, causes of the modes of material nature. What does that actually mean? Okay, I'll explain. According to the quality of religious scriptures, water, one's association with one's children or with people in general, particular place, the time, activities, birth, meditation, chanting of mantras, and purificatory rituals, the modes of nature become differently prominent. What does that mean? So, according to the quality of religious scriptures, agama, and it can be other than religious scriptures, whatever book you read, we are associating with the modes. If I read a horror novel or some meaningless something, then I'm associating with such mode of ignorance. Or if I'm reading a horror story or some sports news I'm reading, that is mode of passion. So whatever I'm reading is affecting my consciousness. Water, what kind of water or anything, apaha means any liquid, what we drink. And this also involves food also. Because ultimately, water has taste. And our food has taste. For the tongue, we are running here and there. What is that? Jihvar lalase jai iti uti dhai. Shishnodar parayana Krishna nahi pai. So we are running because of our greed for the tongue. And tongue, what is the thing that makes it? What are we after? Taste. And taste starts with water. Do you know? Ether, only sound, hearing. Air, sound and touch. Fire, sound, touch and form. Water, sound, touch, form and taste. Earth, sound, touch, form, taste and smell. Everything, earth has everything, all the 5. So taste starts from water. So Even when we taste something like food, solid food, the taste is because of the water element in that. Earth also has that sense of taste, but it starts with water. That's why it's said apaha. But anything, water, like if I drink, what is that? Alcohol. My modes, I'm associating with tamogun. So by the water that we take, or the food that we eat, by the material that we consume in the form of books, or now it's social media, what we read, one's association with one's children or people in general, what kind of people do we associate with, and the particular place, in which kind of places do we usually go to, um, whether it's a temple or whether it's just a nature, like in a nature setting, or in a busy city and kind of thing, or in a brothel, or in a, more of ignorance, like, meat eating, whatever these cafes, or which place and what I go, where I go, or in a movie theater or what. Accordingly, my modes, my association with the modes are there. According to the people I associate with, and this association with people are not just physically association. Suppose I'm watching a video of someone, right? I'm associating with that person, right? What he's saying, I'm associating with that person. And sometimes we get influenced. Like, what is this influencer? Why they call them Instagram influencer, social media influencer? Because they influence. We get influenced by when we watch whatever we watch. So that is association, influence. And then the time. At what time are we very active? Brahma Muhurta, that is spiritual, time for spiritual activities, especially. But if I'm active in the night, like, those clubs and everything, Tamagun. But you may say, oh, Prabhupada also was waking up in the night and translating. This is transcendental. They're beyond the limits of time. Whether night or day doesn't matter for them. Whether they live or die doesn't matter for them. What to speak of night and day? Jivova Marova. The activities, what kind of activities I engage in? Whether I'm engaging in fully materialistic activities, or I'm actually, doing some seva. As much as I do seva, that much I'm associating with Krishna. And if I'm doing something else, I'm associating with that more. Birth. Now, this is a contestant. Well, now here people will be contesting. What is that? Oh, according to your birth, your gunas are there. That means, you see, and actually, in the Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Karanam gunasangosya sadasad yoni janmasu. According to my association with modes, I take a particular birth. That means when you take birth, that birth is a product of your previous association, right? So even if it is guna karma vibhagashaha, chaturvarnyam maya srishtam, the four varnas, ashrama, brahmana, kshatriya, by guna and karma. So even though that is the case, but my guna and karma are already coded into my birth, is it not? Because karanam gunasangosya, we will come back here. Karanam gunasangosya sadasad yoni janmasu. You know this verse? Prabhupada always quoted this. You see, Karanam Gunasangosya Sadasad Yoni Janmasu. The living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus, he meets with good and evil among various species. So, according to his modes, Karanam Gunasangosya Sadasad Yoni Janmasu. Yoni means in the womb, Janmasu means birth. So, he takes birth according to his Gunasanga. Which guna he took Sangha of, association of. That means the guna karma vibhagashaha. Krishna says Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra is not by birth, it's by quality. I mean, he did not say not by birth, he said it is by quality, guna and karma. Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam guna karma vibhagashaha. And we always quote this to show that Brahmana is by quality, guna and karma, not by janma. Right? According to three modes of material nature and the work associated with them, the four divisions of human society are created by me. So if that is the case, then if the guna is already embedded into the birth, because according to guna we got the birth, so guna karma vibhagashaha is our previous guna karma vibhagashaha, which is already coded into our birth, hardwired into our birth, and therefore by birth we should be considered brahmanas or kshatriyas. And today's verse, I mean this verse that I'm showing, 11:13:4, sorry. Here it is said birth is also one of the janma. You see, janma is one of the causes of our association. So how to understand this now? So while there is an element, because if I take janma, a birth in a family which is very badly cultured, of course I'm going to be influenced by that family around me, right? How my mother will raise me up, how my brothers and sisters are, how my father is, how my neighbors are, in what kind of a country I'm in. So it does affect my association, of course. But then this janma can also mean the second birth, diksha, which then will make one transcendental. So even though I may be born in a particular family, country, society, but I can rectify myself by the second birth, dvija. And therefore those who get initiated, so they associate with the devotees, they do all the sanskaras and then they become purified. So that is also there. And therefore we still stand by that same thing, that it is still by guna karma vibhagasha, not by janma. And that is also explained particularly by Narad Muni in the Bhagavatam 7:11:35. You should remember this verse. Yasya yal lakshanam proktam pumso varnabhivyanjakam yad anyatrapi drishyeta tattenaiva vinirdishet. If one shows the symptoms of being a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudra as described above, even if he has appeared in a different class, he should be accepted according to those symptoms of classification and not by birth. Even if he has particularly he said, even if he's appeared in a different class, and this is not just a translation. If you see the Sanskrit, yat anyatra, elsewhere, apidrishyeta, even if he's seen elsewhere, even if he's found in a different kind of family, he should be accepted according to the symptoms of classification. Okay. Now coming back to that verse there. Kala, karma, so janmacha, dhyanam. What do I meditate on? These are 10 things which influence our association. Meditation, what do I meditate on? Not only person who is sitting down like this is meditating, every single soul is always meditating on something. The capitalist, he will meditate on money. He is meditating on money. So, and the lusty person, he is meditating on women. Always women. And some people have the calendars full of naked women pictures. I went to Orchard Road. I'm selling calendars. So I went to this tailor shop. And I said, please take a calendar, Krishna calendar. No, I already have a calendar. Show me a calendar. And he moved aside. Behind him was a calendar. What the hell? It was like pornography calendar. So what the hell? Bloody take that out. I told him, take that out. Nonsense. Put your Krishna picture there. Then, okay, sorry. Took one calendar. Look at them. So, meditation. What am I meditating on? And there's one nice verse. I think this. Yeah. एतावान एव लोकेस्मिन् पुंसः स्वार्थः परः स्मृतः एकांत भक्तिर गोविंदे यत् सर्वत्र तदीक्षणम् 7:7:55 of Srimad Bhagavatam. In this material world, this is not example. Okay. To render service to the lotus feet of Govinda, the cause of all causes, and to see him everywhere is the only goal of life. This much alone is the ultimate goal of human life, as explained by all the revealed scriptures. Wait a second. Yes, Is it the purport of this? Yeah, this is the purport. Okay, this is the verse I really wanted to show. Narayanmayam dhiraah pashyanti paramarthinah jagad dhanamayam lubdhaah kamukaah kaminimayam. A devotee sees everyone and everything in relationship with Narayana. Everything is an expansion of Narayana's energy. Just as those who are greedy see everything as a source of money making, and those who are lusty see everything as being conducive to sex, the most perfect devotee, Prahlad Maharaj, saw Narayana even within a stone column. I'll tell you an example. It's not a very nice example. I don't know if I should even say it. This point, Lubdha, Kamini, Kamika, Kamuka, Kamini Mayam, where everything, for a person who is lusty, everything will remind him of sex. For a person who is greedy, everything will remind him of money. Everything, okay, I can make money out of this. He will think like, a perfect example of this. One time it happened to me. It's not a very nice example, but what happened? I was walking here near this bus stop. I wanted to take a bus, and I was chanting like this and going. Two guys, they were talking to each other, Hindi, so I understood what they were saying. And they were pointing at my paid bag, and they were laughing. You know what they were saying? It looks like that. I don't know if you understand. You see how their mind is working. This is Kamuka, Kaman. Everything lust, everything sex. Look at those guys. So bad. I was like, oh man, even this they can think like that. So, these guys are really lusty. They go to clubs and this kind of people, not very pious at all. So likewise, in fact, there is another verse, very nice verse in Tattvavit. Vichayani, vicharyani, vichintyani punah punah. Okay, here we go. Goswami. Tattvavit, verse 30. Vichayani, vicharyani, vichintyani punah punah. Kripanasya dhanani va tvannamani bhavantunah. O Lord, just as a miser continually collects, counts, and remembers his money, in the same way, let us continually collect, count, and remember your holy names. See, I wanted to tie this to that. If we praise someone, we may get their qualities. In these two verses, we have seen them praise lusty people and greedy people and a miser who's a greedy person. They've kind of praised him, but in a way opposite. What is that? Just as they count, I want to count Krishna's names like that. So they count Sankhya Purvaka Nama Gana Natibhi. Natibhi also. Natibhi means bowing down. Pranati. So they used to count their bowing down also. Raghunath Das Goswami 1008 times he will bow down to Vaishnavas in a day. Apart from chanting sadhana, 64 rounds, he has to pay 1008 obeisances to devotees. To 1008 devotees every day. That is part of his sadhana. So like that they are counting. If you see Govardhan Parikrama, we have all gone. They do Dandavat Parikrama and Ashtottara Shata Dandavat Parikrama. Have you seen that? Ashtottara Shata means 108. So sometimes Dasha Dandavat Parikrama, like 10 times in one place, they have 10 stones. They'll stand and then put one stone and then stand and put one stone again. Like that they'll bow down. and 10 and then they go. Sometimes, so 108 also. Ashtottara Shatadandavad Parikram of Garuḍa. So they count like this, not to show off anything, but this is their like commitment to Krishna. I want to do this, like a vow. So ours is also a vow. So you see, just as they do, it's like they're praising them. There's another verse like this. What is that? Um, I don't know what it is, but I can find it. Yeah, this is the one. युवतेनां यथा योने यूनां च युवतौ यथा मनोभिरमते तद्वन् मनो मे रमतां त्वयि. Again, another thing is praised here, which is not good. As the minds of young girls take pleasure in thinking of a young boy, and those of young boys take pleasure in thinking of a young girl, may my mind take pleasure in you. See, you should not be meditating on this, right? But they meditate and connect it with Krishna. There is this nice verse by Sridhar Swami in his commentary on the 6th canto, 1st chapter, 12th verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, 6.1.12 purport. The purport is not here. But Prabhupada quoted in which book? He only mentioned the English translation of that verse in the 6.1.13 purport, but the actual verse he quoted in Matchless Gift book, which is like for the beginners, but it's such an advanced quote. Smaranam Kirtanam Keli. Smaranam Kirtanam Keli, Prekshanam Guhya Bhashanam. Okay. This Sridhara, Matchless Gift. See, which book? Matchless Gift. The beginning, Brahmacharya. There are descriptions in the Vedas of Brahmacharya, celibacy, which characterize the beginning of a life dedicated to tapasya. Smaranam Kirtanam Keli, Prekshanam Guhya Bhashanam, Sankalpodhyavasayascha, Kriya Nivrittirevacha. To properly execute celibacy, one should not even think or even talk of sex life. Reading modern literature and newspapers which are filled with sexual material is also against the principles of Brahmacharya. Similarly, indulging in sex in any way, looking at and whispering with girls, and determining or endeavoring to engage in sex life are all against the principles of Brahmacharya. And if you see this verse, in this purport, 6.14 purport, there is one verse. Yeah, this is from Yajnavalkya Smriti. Yajnavalkya is the sage, great sage. Karmana manasa vacha sarvavasthasu sarvada sarvatra maithunatyago brahmacharyam prachakshate. The vow of Brahmacharya is meant to help one completely abstain from sex indulgence in work, words, and mind at all times, under all circumstances, and in all places. So it's very stringent rules. Smaranam, even thinking also cannot. But Acharyas have composed such verses where they said, just as the boys take, pleasure in, associating with young girls, and young girls take pleasure in associating with young boys. In that way, I want to get associated. I want to get attracted to you, Krishna. So the thing is, the good thing they're taking out of it. The good thing is, without anybody teaching, without a school teaching, without the parents teaching, automatically the boy and girl get attracted to each other. So spontaneous and natural. That is a good thing when applied to Krishna. If I can only be that spontaneously attracted, like Bilumangal Thakur's, the girlfriend, Chintamani, she told him that if only they were this much attracted to Krishna, then what happened? That's it. That was a perfection. So similarly, these things are explained in a sort of twisted way. I'll tell you another twisted verse. I'm going on a tangent now, big tangent. It's kind of my theme in every lecture. You know this verse? Smeram bhange traya parichitam sachi vistirna drishtim vamshinyastadhara kishalayam ujjalam chandrakena Govindakhyam haritanumita keshitirthopakanthe ma prekshishthastava yadi sakhe bandhu sange stiranga. My dear friend, if you are indeed attached to your worldly friends, do not look at the smiling face of Lord Govinda as he stands on the bank of the Yamuna at Keshi Ghat. Casting sidelong glances, he places his flute to his lips, which seem like newly blossomed twigs. His transcendental body, bending in three places, appears very bright in the moonlight. Don't go and see him. Because if you're attached to your materialistic life, your family, and everything, I advise you not to go and see him, this boy. It's like a reverse psychology. It's kind of criticizing what needs to be praised and praising what needs to be criticized. But it's a poetic expression in which actually he is praising what is to be praised and criticizing what is to be criticized. So Acharya sometimes engage in this kind of paradoxes, but the highlight is always Krishna consciousness. Like that Chorashtakam of Bilwangal Thakur, accusing Krishna of being a thief and saying that I will imprison you in my heart. It looks like he's criticizing him. You take away all the wealth of your devotees and everything. It's like he's criticizing almost Krishna. It sounds like, but it's actually not. He's praising him. So this is a poetic device, and it's not actual criticism. So going back here, Dhyanam mantra. Mantra. What kind of mantra I chant? I'm also associating with that. And this mantra can be anything that we utter. Like, those guys outside, they use profanity. Morning, wake up, word will come out. Instead of chanting Krishna's name, some vulgar word will come out. And whole day they're chanting these words. So according to that, my association, what am I associating with? So what I'm talking and what mantra I'm chanting, what I'm uttering will affect my consciousness. And not only uttering, hearing. To speak about something, I have to think about it and then speak it. And when I hear something, I have to think about what I heard. So it affects my consciousness. Then chanting of mantras and purificatory rituals. What kind of rituals I perform? Sometimes I may perform tamasic rituals also. Even school, for example, is kind of so-called purificatory because we get something, we learn something, right? Compared to being an absolute fool. But again, in what mode is it? Rajasic, tamasic, sattvic? Mostly Rajasic and tamasic. So it's a purificatory process that one is undergoing. That's why one is put to school and everything. Is to elevate him to the next. That's what purificatory rituals are for. Vidyarambha, then there is Diksha, then there is second Brahman Diksha, and then eventually there is Vivaha, and finally there is Sannyas. So all these are to elevate. So school education is also to elevate. So it's actually a purificatory ritual, sort of. But since it's in the Rajasic and Tamasic, today's modern education, Tamasic almost, a little bit Rajasic. And that's what is being taught there, completely against God. So what kind of rituals I undergo? These will affect my consciousness, does it not? If I come from a school where everything materialism is praised, and of course my thinking will be like that. So there is association. In what school I'm brought up, it's my association. So in these ways, the different modes of material nature are prominent. And now, going back to 1135 here, among the 10 items I have just mentioned, the great sages who understand Vedic knowledge have praised and recommended those that are in the mode of goodness, criticized and rejected those in the mode of ignorance, and shown indifference to those in the mode of passion. So all these 10 items that are mentioned can be in the mode of goodness, can be in the mode of passion or ignorance. And when we say association, this is what we mean by association. All these things influence our consciousness. The food we eat, the people we associate with, the education that we undergo, the material that we consume, the time of the day that we're active in, the place that we go to, all these things influence our consciousness. So all these things can be divided into 3 modes, and again transcendental to these 3 modes, which is the temple. So as much as I engage in Krishna Seva in the proper place, why it is said therefore that the Pancha Anga of the main 5 limbs of devotional service, which are this: Sadhu Sanga Nam Kirtan Bhagavat Shravan Mathuravas Srimurtira Shraddhaya Sevan. These 5 things are very important in devotional service, because tie these things as we are learning this, as I'm reading this translation, you try to tie this with those 10 items which you have just read. See, one should associate with devotees. See, the kind of people we associate with comes here. Chant the holy name, the mantra that we chant. Hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Again, this is also the scriptures that we read, Agama. Reside at Mathura, the place that we go to, and worshipping the deity with faith and veneration. Here we are having, when we say deity worship, we have to offer food, then we have to also take prasadam. That is also prasad seva. It's actually honoring prasad. We are not eating prasad. Eating, yes, physically, but it's actually called honoring, and it's called prasad seva, to honor prasadam. So that is also comes under deity worship. So the apaha, and also every morning we do charanam abhishek, the charanamrita we are drinking. So deity worship includes all these 10 items perfectly in the most transcendent. That's why these 5 items are stressed in devotional service. There are 64 items, many items. After enumerating all of them, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says these 5 is repeated actually. 24, 193, is it? The same 5 things are again repeated. Not sure. Yeah. Satsanga Krishna Seva Bhagavat Nam Vrajevas A Pancha Sadhana Pradhan. See, second time. 22, 128, 24, 193. To be elevated to the platform of devotional service, the following 5 items should be observed: association with devotees, engagement in the service of Lord Krishna, the reading of Srimad Bhagavatam, the chanting of the holy names, and the residence at Vrindavan or Mathura or temple, which is an embassy of the same. So you see 5 items. And a Pancha Sadhana Pradhan, the chief processes of devotion, Pradhan. Like Pradhan Mantri means chief person, chief minister or prime minister. So chief or the prime processes of devotion, Pancha Sadhana Pradhan. So this is because this ties in with those 10 things which we associate with. So all our range and domain of activities are engaged in consciousness of Krishna. That is called Krishna consciousness. When Prabhupada said we have to mold our life in such a way that we are always Krishna conscious. That means this. Now, having known this, today's verse, what is said here, you see, it's very important what is said in today's verse. My dear King Parikshit, the path indicated by Jadabharat is like the path followed by Garuda, the carrier of the Lord. And ordinary kings are just like flies. Flies cannot follow the path of Garuda. And to date, none of the great kings and victorious leaders could follow this path of devotional service, not even mentally. And I don't think we even read the translation until now. Did we? Yeah. Bhagavatam classes are more than halfway done. Okay. So, yeah, let's please repeat. Having summarized the teachings of Jadabharat, Shukadeva Goswami said, my dear King Parikshit, the path indicated by Jadabharat is like the path followed by Garuda, the carrier of the Lord. And ordinary kings are just like flies. Flies cannot follow the path of Garuda. And to date, none of the great kings and victorious leaders could follow this path of devotional service, not even mentally. It's a powerful verse actually. Purport by Subhangra Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 7.3, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam vetti tattvataha. Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. The path of devotional service is very difficult, even for great kings who have conquered many enemies. Although these kings were victorious on the battlefield, they could not conquer the bodily conception. There are many big leaders, yogis, swamis, and so called incarnations who are very much addicted to mental speculation and who advertise themselves as perfect personalities, but they are not ultimately successful. The path of devotional service is undoubtedly very difficult to follow, but it becomes very easy if the candidate actually wants to follow the path of the Mahajan. In this age, there is the path of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who appeared to deliver all fallen souls. This path is so simple and easy that everyone can take to it by chanting the holy name of the Lord. Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Eva Kevalam, Kalau Nastyeva, Nastyeva, Nastyeva Gatiranyatha. We are very satisfied that this path is being opened by this Krishna consciousness movement because so many European and American boys and girls are taking this philosophy seriously and gradually attaining perfection. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Totally forgot about reading the translation. I forgot this was I went on a huge lecture already. Okay. So actually I wanted to tie that to today's verse. So anyway, Jada Bharat is explaining the level of devotional service, which is so elevated, and to date, none of the great kings and victorious leaders could follow it even mentally. So now, that is certainly a bit discouraging because, in a way, so we can never follow the standard of devotional service then. What is the point of even studying all this and if I cannot come to that standard at all? The thing is, number one, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has made it so easy, and which is why he is called Namo Mahavadanyaya. 1953. Okay. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha. While offering with chant is right. Do you know the meaning? Must know the meaning. Otherwise, mantra, the 10 items, you're not associating with the mantra. It's like I'm with devotees, but actually I'm not associating with devotees because I'm not really taking their advantage. So similarly, when we chant mantra, but we don't know what we're chanting, we're actually not benefiting from the mantra. We're not. Because my mind is not there. My mind is actually not thinking of what the mantra is saying. So, Namo Mahavadanyaya. Vadanyaya. Vada means to give. Vadanyaya, O most munificent incarnation. Mahavadanyaya means very charitable. Why? You are Krishna himself appearing as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You have assumed the golden color of Srimati Radharani. Gaura Tvishe. Tvisha means color, complexion. Gaura means fair, Gora, Gaura, fair, fair complexion, golden complexion of Srimati Radharani. What is that? Radha Bhava Dyuti Sugalitam Naumi Krishna Swarupam. Dyuti means again complexion. Radha Bhava and Dyuti. The Bhava of Radharani and Dyuti of Radharani, Krishna has assumed and came in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Radha Bhava Dyuti Sugalitam Naumi Krishna Swarupam. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the first few verses. This is I think third verse. Second. No, it's not. It's not third verse. Fifth verse. Is it not? Yeah, fifth verse. This is the internal reason of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance. External reason is to propagate holy name. Internal reason is to taste Radharani's love for Krishna. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir Hladini Shaktirasmad Ekatmana Vapibhuvi Puran Deha Bhedam Gatotau Chaitanyakhyam Prakatamadhuna Tadvayam Chaikyamaptam Radha Bhava Dyuti Sugalitam Naumi Krishna Swarupam. The loving affairs of Sri Radha and Krishna are transcendental manifestations of the Lord's internal pleasure-giving potency. Although Radha and Krishna are one in their identity, previously they separated themselves. Now these two transcendental identities have again united in the form of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. I bow down to him who has manifested himself with the sentiment and complexion of Srimati Radharani, although he is Krishna himself. So Dyuti, the luster or the complexion, and Bhava means the mood. So this is Gauratvishe Namaha. Gauratvishe. Namo Mahavadanya. Krishna Prema Pradayate. Why is he most munificent, charitable? Because he delivered Krishna Prema to everybody, which is very, very difficult to attain. Very difficult to attain. Big sages in even the upper planetary systems, as much as Satyaloka, it's very hard for them to attain this, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving freely. Krishna Prema Pradate, Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne. Krishna Chaitanya Namne means he bears the name of Krishna Chaitanya, but he is Krishnaya. So Krishnaya means to Krishna. Namo Krishnaya. So offering my obeisances to Krishna. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradate Krishnaya. He is Krishna himself. But Krishna Chaitanya Namne. Gauratvishe Namaha. That's the meaning of this verse. So again, it ties to what Prabhupada said in the quote yesterday, that offering someone respect means to remember some of their activities. So to offer Chaitanya Mahaprabhu respect, actually this is the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Pranati mantra. When we offer respects to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this is the mantra we have to chant. So when we are chanting, when we're paying obeisances means to remember. But if I'm chanting that Pranati mantra of either Prabhupada but if I'm not remembering, then I'm actually Dandavat is not there. You know what Dandavat Pranam means? What Dandavat? Danda means like a stick, right? Dandavat means like. What means like? Stick like Pranam. Fall like a stick. But actually, it's also called Sashtanga Pranam. Sa Ashta Anga Pranam. Sa means with. Ashta Anga Pranam. 8 parts. With 8 parts, we have to offer the obeisances. And what are the 8 parts? 11.6.7 purport. You see, Dorbhyam padabhyam janubhyam Urasa shirasa drisha manasa vachasa cheti pranamoshtanga iritaha. The obeisances offered with 8 limbs are made with 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 knees, the chest, the head, the eyes, the mind, and the power of speech. So, of course, for women it's Panchanga Pranam. I think full arms are not there, just the arms and full legs. That's right, and chest. So, but you see, the mind and the power of speech are also 7 and 8 items, 7th and 8th items. You see, that means when we do Dandavat Pranam, we have to, the power of speech must be used. That means we have to chant the Pranati mantra. If you just do silently, that is not Pranam actually. And also the mind. The mind is also, in fact, the mind is the biggest thing here actually. Because that's what the whole point is, to come, our mind to subjugate to Krishna or Prabhupada and Vaishnavas. In fact, even Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhye vacha. Do I know what I'm saying when I'm saying that? So we should know. Then only we'll fully benefit. We will fully benefit from that mantra when we understand. So coming back. So today's verse says Garuda, and you see, both are flying. A housefly will fly, and Garuda is also flying. I cannot say because Garuda is flying, a housefly flying, I am also same as Garuda. No, the kind of flying, what Garuda can do, what we can do, what a housefly can do, worlds apart. Right? In fact, it is said, when the Garuda flaps his wings, yeah, right? You just said, yeah. So when the Garuda flaps his wings, the sound that comes, usually a bird when flaps wings, just sound will come. When Garuda flaps his wings, the Samaveda is coming. The Samaveda, the songs of Samaveda emanating from just by the movement of Garuda's wings. So how can we compare to that? So we have to understand, like, what is the real standard of devotional service and where actually we really are. We should always consider ourselves like the housefly, like really bad at this flying. And if you see this verse, 1:18:23, aham hi prishtorya mano bhavadbhir achaksha atmavagamotra yavan nabha patantyatma samam patitrinas tatha samam vishnu gatim vipaschitah. O rishis, who are as powerfully pure as the sun, I shall try to describe to you the transcendental pastimes of Vishnu as far as my knowledge allows. As the birds fly in the sky as far as their capacity allows, so do the learned devotees describe the Lord as far as their realization allows. So the sky is unlimited, but the extent to which a bird may be able to fly depends on the capacity of the bird. Similarly, the knowledge about Krishna or Krishna consciousness is unlimited. But to how much I am advanced, that much higher I will fly in that sky of Krishna consciousness. So we should always think ourselves. So that actually ties with today's verse. Garuda and the housefly. They're both flying in the sky. But how the housefly is flying and how Garuda is flying. So it's a vast, vast difference. So there are gradations of devotees, 3rd class, 2nd class, 1st class. Uttamadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, Kanishtadhikari. So we should not equate all of them. We should also associate with different classes of devotees in different ways. So we should faithfully serve that devotee who is very advanced and pure devotee. And Madhyamadikari we should still serve, and especially even in Madhyamadikari there are different levels within Madhyamadikari. Because solidly situated Madhyamadikari is one, but any preacher is not yet Madhyamadikari. I mean, he is trying to ascend to the Madhyama stage, but he may still have Kanishta remnants. So it takes a real high standard to come to real Madhyamadikari. Madhyamadikari means the preacher who knows how to deal with Krishna, with the spiritual master, with devotees, and with non-devotees, and different grades of devotees and different grades of non-devotees as well. And he will not be fighting with devotees, and he will not be artificially humble with non-devotees. He will be humble, but not to the extent where he will criticize devotees for pleasing non-devotees. Kanishtadhikari does that. He doesn't know how to behave with people, and he may sometimes criticize devotees in order to maintain his friendship with non-devotees or beginner devotees who are deviant, who do not know how to think. Instead of helping them how to think, he will agree with them and put the blame on others. So, for example, one devotee, a senior devotee, chastises another devotee. Now, I am watching the incident, and then I will go to the junior devotee and say, "Come, of course, this has to be a genuine reason, not simply that I am a so-called senior and then I lash out at someone without proper understanding of the philosophy and application myself." When I'm talking about an actual senior devotee who, for the well-being of the junior devotee, chastises him. Say, the temple president chastises. Now, if I go to this junior devotee and say, "Oh, don't worry, it's okay, yeah, he's like that only, don't worry, sometimes he will," that is a pakka kanishtha. That's not preaching at all. The way I should preach is, yes, I should maybe console him, but tell him that, you see, actually, he only wishes well for you. Why would he take the botheration to, scold you? Because father will do like that only. Outsider won't scold you. Your father will scold you if you did something wrong. So actually, he has love for you. That is, in fact, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Advaita Acharya wanted to get chastised by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had a servant who was Kamalakanta Vishwas. And once he said to others that, my Guru Advaita Acharya, he owes somebody 300 rupees. So he's a debtor. Advaita Acharya took 300 rupees from someone. And then Kamalakanta Vishwas said that when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to know of it, he said, he chastised severely. How can you say he's a debtor? He's the Supreme Personality of God. He owns Lakshmi. Yeah. You cannot equate him with an ordinary human being and what to speak of a debtor on top of that. So you cannot say like that. He very seriously he chastised Kamalakanta Vishwas. And then Kamalakanta was very morose that he was chastised. And Advaita Acharya came to him and asked him, what is the cause? Why are you morose? He said, "Oh, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chastised me." Then Advaita Acharya actually told him, "Oh, that is very good that he chastised you. He's very kind upon you." After saying all that, he solaced him. Okay. Then he went to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Advaita Acharya. "I heard you chastised Kamalakanta. That means you consider him closer to you than me. You never chastise me even once. You always treat me with respect. You would only do that to an outsider. For example, if somebody comes to our home, some guest, usually we treat them cordially, nicely, right? We don't shout at them. It's not etiquette. Even though he may do something wrong, we will still be cordial with him. That means actually we're not taking that person as our very, very near. And of course, in social etiquette, that's the right way to do it. I mean, they are not near, so we should not be too, so we should be cordial. But that only says that about, but so Advaita Acharya was saying, You treat me with respect always. That means you don't consider me as, actually Advaita Acharya was, first of all, he invited Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's much older than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu age-wise. He is the contemporary of his spiritual master, Ishwar Puri. And by age, by everything, he was a senior by birth. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was giving the due respect. Advaita Acharya did not like it. You favor my servant more than me. Then no. Then you know what Advaita Acharya did? He purposely went to associate with all Mayavadis and made sure that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will know about it. And when he came to know, then he called Advaita Acharya. And Advaita Acharya came, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu beat him up. Not just scolding or beat him. Then Advaita Acharya was happy. Okay, now you consider me as close. So, this is how we must tell them. And there are so many such nice stories of chastisement actually coming out of the place of love. They actually are accelerators in our devotional service if we really understand the motive behind them. And sometimes it so happens that the motive is not nice. We are chastised, even among devotees, by someone whose motive was not care. He was actually not caring. He or she is not caring. He's just wanting to show some power or so whatever. It was manipulative and not really coming out from a good place in the heart. How to take such chastisements? Well, we should still take what is good for us. Even though it was not uttered with proper feeling, it was said out of some, political manipulation. But still, if there is something I can learn from it, I should still take it for my benefit. Why? If there is truth in what the person is saying. For example, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught this in one pastime. When Ramananda, not Ramananda. What is his name? Ramachandra Puri. When he was criticizing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that you are eating so much as a sannyasi, how can you eat so much? Because everybody would invite him to their homes and they'll feed very sumptuously, many items. So he was eating like this everywhere. Of course, he is non-different from Jagannath. Chappan Bhog going on there every day. And Jai Gaura, Shai Krishna, Shai Jagannath. So the one who is Gauranga Mahaprabhu is the person who is Krishna, is the person who is Jagannath. So he can eat whatever he likes, he's the Supreme Lord. But as a sannyasi, he was eating like that. And then this Ramachandra goes, how can you, what kind of sannyasi? So look at him. This is a sannyasi. He is trying to show that he is a big sannyasi and everybody is serving. What is this? You're all a bunch of sentimental people, don't know even the basic rules of sannyas. How can he eat like this? Then what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did because of that? He reduced his eating. Yes, he's right. What he said is correct. He's looking out for me. He's saying that because of he wishes my benefit. Although he was not. He was just criticizing. He was just a serial criticizer. But of course, it's not that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu should be okay. We should be okay with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu being criticized. No, all the other devotees were sad and they were actually angry with him, Ramachandra Puri. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching how we should take when chastisement is directed to us, even with the wrong motive. If there is some good in it, yes, he is actually saying correct. Sannyas should not eat much. I will not eat. He reduced his eating. But everybody was unhappy. Now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not eating. But by this example, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is showing how we can take anything and not be disturbed. Oh, how can you say like this? How can you say like that about me? I'm not actually doing this. I'm okay. My senses are not out of control. He did not try to justify himself. He said, okay, you know what? Fair enough. Sannyas should not do. So, if there is something good in it, why should I not take it? I will only benefit, no? So I should take anything for my good, for my own good. So in this way, there are so many pastimes and very interesting pastimes like this, where we can learn a lot if we just observe the behavior of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the behavior of devotees. Another example is Rasikananda. Extreme example. His wife. How he chastised his wife. First of all, how he was chastised by Shamananda Pandit. his spiritual master. At one point, Shamananda Pandit was speaking like this in a class, and Rasikananda, the disciple, he was sitting in the class. And for a moment, his attention was somewhere else. Little bit. His attention, he was just looking at another person who was sitting there, something, I don't remember the exact thing. He was a little bit inattentive. For a split second, how severely he was chastised by Shamananda Pandit for that one thing. I should read that again for myself again. But that shows how serious we should be in a class, and how serious we should be not just in a class, how serious attention we should pay while reading Bhagavad Gita, while chanting Hare Krishna. We take it too lightly. Oh, these are everyday daily class. He will speak now. Speak, go on speaking. We sometimes get, this is what happens to us. What is that verse? Sannikarshotra martyanam anadarana karanam. Yeah. 1084:31. Krishna himself spoke this. Sannikarshotra martyanam anadarana karanam. Sannikarsha means close. In English, it is said, familiarity breeds contempt. This is the word. In this world, familiarity breeds contempt. Contempt means, what is contempt? Disrespect. Adar means respect. Anadarana, disregard. Adarana means, I think Hindi also it is adar, means respect. Adarana means with respect. Anadarana means without respect. Sannikarshotra martyanam anadarana karanam, it will become a cause of disrespect or disregard. When we have it too easy, it means we are every day seeing Krishna, we are every day chanting. For a person who does not realize the value of what we have on a daily basis, it's the elite of the elite of the elite in the universe, what we have access to. But when we don't have that understanding of the value, because we don't read, so sometimes what Krishna does is he throws us away from devotional service. He throws us far away. And then we really long for it again. Oh, I wish, the smell of the incense when I enter the temple room. All these things mean a lot when we miss it. The sight of the deities, hearing the Bhagavatam class, we miss everything. And that is a way for Krishna to again bring us back to Krishna again, to devotees. Of course, if we are fortunate, that happens. Otherwise, I would say a good riddance this temple, and we're going to come back here. So that's when we are too offensive, that's what happens. Krishna makes us go away, because if we are here, we will commit more and more offenses. It's better that we go away. So Krishna just keeps us out. So, but it's not good. But anyway, anadarana karanam. Whereas this verse says, in the beginning, Syat Krishna nama charitadi sitapya vidya vittopatapta rasanasya narochikano kintvādarād anudinam khalu saiva jushta swadvikramad bhavati tad gadamūlamantri ādarād. Kintu ādarād, with respect, with attention. The holy name, character, pastimes, and activities of Krishna are all transcendently sweet, like sugar candy. But we don't find it as sweet. We find it bitter. I have to chant my rounds. It's like a big chore. Is it not? It's a burden. And I have to read. I have to read worship. I have to cook. I have to do this. I have to do that. It's like a burden. That's when we are not associating. This is what happens. When we don't associate with all the songs. Actually, you know what? Why did I make that Strengthening Foundation series, For this one reason. If only we paid attention while we are singing all those songs, we will be well situated in spiritual life. Very well situated in spiritual life. And that's the reason why that all those songs are actually there in our daily program. To remind us. But because we don't do it properly, we fizzle out. So, Although the tongue of one afflicted by the jaundice of avidya, ignorance, cannot taste anything sweet, it is wonderful that simply by carefully chanting these sweet names every day, adarat, kintu adarat, anudinam, khalu saiva jushta. Anudinam means every day. A natural relish awakens within his tongue, and his disease is gradually destroyed at the root. See? So sugar candy is as sweet as sugar candy, but the tongue of one afflicted with the jaundice of avidya. We have a disease. We have a disease of this Maya, materialism now, ignorance. So then we cannot taste anything sweet. But if we carefully, with adara, instead of anadara, carefully if we do these things, chanting Krishna's name or engaging in service with respect, then naturally our relish will awaken. So if we are not, of course, we are not as great as Garuda, we are not as great as Jadabharat and his devotion, which is why we should question our claim. If we really want to go back to Godhead, Jadabharat took 3 lives. I mean, Bharat Maharaj, dear Jadabharat, and then only went back. He was actually very serious in. You see, the next verse actually shows how serious he was. 5:14:43. Uttama shloka lalasa. Uttama shloka lalasa means greedy for Krishna. Uttama shloka means Krishna. Yo dustyajan darasutan suhrid rajyam hridis prishaha jahau yuvaiva malavat. Malavat. You know what mala means? Stool. Malavat means like stool. Uttama shloka lalasa. Beautiful verse. See, while in the prime of his life, the great Maharaj Bharat gave up everything because he was so fond of serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Uttama Shloka. He gave up his beautiful wife, nice children, great friends, and an enormous empire. Although these things were very difficult to give up, Maharaj Bharat was so exalted that he gave them up just as one gives up stool after evacuating. Such was the greatness of his majesty. Now imagine, a person of such stature took 3 lives to go back to Godhead. Of course, he would have gone in the first instance, but made a mistake, right? So a slight mistake. 3 lives it took for him to get back to Godhead. And we want to go back to Godhead in this life. Garuda and the fly. Garuda is taking three lives. I mean, Garuda, of course, he's with the Lord, but I'm saying a person like Garuda level of devotional service like Bharat Maharaj took 3 lives. We houseflies want to reach in 1 life. So that just shows how serious we really should be. But Prabhupada encourages us that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so merciful and magnanimous that by Harer Nam, Aiva Kevalam, we don't have to do that tapasya in the forest like Maharaj Bharat. But the intensity of devotion should still be the same while chanting. But that can be gotten by chanting Hare Krishna and taking to this whole process in a serious way. At least one thing we can do is whatever program that is given to us by Prabhupada, we can at least do that in a serious manner. If that also we cannot do seriously, then we have no hope. Serious manner means whatever program he gave us daily and temple programs, everything, we have to do with utmost care and put our best efforts in that. Then by the mercy of Prabhupada, we have some chance. Otherwise, coming back is certain. In fact, Prabhupada said many of my disciples will end up in the heavenly planets. Because they cannot go back. Not enough devotion. Because Pritir Nayavan Maya Vasudeva Namuchate Deha Yogena Tavat. Without having Priti, Krishna Prema Pradayate, you know what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is offering, Krishna Prema. Without that, 0 chance of going back to God. 0 chance. You know, Prabhupada said, you chant 4 principles in 16 rounds, you go back to Godhead. That's true. But with what quality we have to do that? Not that I'm full with material desires and I'm go back to God. No way. No.
ISKM Interloka.
Huh?
ISKM Interloka.
What loka?
ISKM
Ice cream loka?
Interloka.
Indraloka. So that's what will happen. So we should not be flies. We should at least try to. We should aspire for that highest state of devotion. We should be greedy, actually. Uttama shloka lalasa. That greed, actually, that's the answer, right? Greed. These two verses are very, very nice. This verse we know, but the other verse I discovered only in Russia. कृष्ण भक्ति रसभावितामते क्रियताम यदि कुतोपि लभ्यते तत्र लौल्यम अपि मूल्यमेकलम जन्मकोटि सुकृतैर्न लभ्यते. There is one song that Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote, Siddhi Lalasa. What is that? Kabe habe bolo shedi namar. When will that day be mine when I actually attain Krishna Prema? Song he sings. Siddhi Lalasa. The greed for perfection. Now, in this material world, everybody is greedy for perfection. They want to become the best. But here, best in devotion. And even then, it's not competing with other sadhus. It's a transcendental competition that we are after. Competing with ourselves. And getting inspired by actual great devotees. But if I think I'm great, that's the very stamp of failure. Failure devotee, complete failure if I think I'm great devotee. So you see, Janma Koti Sukritena Labhati, you see what is said here. Pure devotional service and Krishna consciousness cannot be had even by pious activity in hundreds and thousands of lives. It can be attained only by paying one price, that is intense greed to obtain it. If it is available somewhere, one must purchase it without delay. Why do we say every morning, Bahu Janma Kare Jadi Shravan Kirtan Tabuta Na Paye Krishna Pave Premadham. One can go on even chanting holy name that is given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for Bahu Janma. We can go on chanting for many millions of births. Tabuta Na Paye Krishna Pave Premadham. We will still not get Krishna Prema. If we are not serious about it, if we don't have adar for it, if we are doing it in anadharana way. Because the holy name is so near to me, I'll just chant any whatever. Bhagavad Gita is always there now, I can always read pocket my. Anywhere I go, I just open my phone, I will be there. Yeah, it will be there only, it will never be here. Because I think it is too close anyway, I have access. Access should be here. I should access it here. Otherwise, I'm not engaging with it. It's not the physical proximity, how close it is to you, but how close it is to our heart, actually. So, intense greed. And you know what happens when we have that greed? That is explained in the previous verse, which I found in Russia. And actually, Russians have this quote in the Russian language. They have this thing where they say, in food, the best spice is hunger. When you have hunger, anything will taste good. It's a beautiful quote. And actually, I like that very much. And next day, I found this verse. Actually, Prabhu was quoting the 870. And I went just a little bit up. So 869. Okay, 869 should be. I actually did not learn it until now by heart. I should. Nanopachara krita pujanamārta bandhoh premnaiva bhakta hridayam sukha vidrutam syat yavat kshudasti jathare jaratha pipasa tavat sukhaya bhavato nanubhakshyate. Ramananda Rai continued, as long as there is hunger and thirst within the stomach, varieties of food and drink make one feel very happy. Similarly, when the Lord is worshipped with pure love, the various activities performed in the course of that worship awaken transcendental bliss in the heart of the devotee. Beautiful, beautiful analogy. Because sometimes we do arati, we do offering, we do cooking, we do this and that, and we treat it like a burden. And Prabhupada actually in one lecture, he's actually saying this is not like a vigraha, galagraha. Galagraha means, gala means throat, graha means. So we feel it's not like a vigraha, but galagraha. It's like a burden, somebody is like killing me. If I feel service like that, that means I have no greed for Krishna. So I am doing everything, but I have no hunger for Krishna. I have no greed. I have no lalasa for Krishna. Then everything is like, okay, you know what, I'll do arati. Or I'll just let it, okay, 10 minutes. Run out from there. Or chanting Hare Krishna. Finish 16 rounds. You know, these things happen when we feel it like Galagraha. So, Satchidananda Vigraha became Galagraha. There's no Ananda, there's no Sat, no Chit, nothing. Because there's no Chit. There is no knowledge. There is nothing. So, when we have that greed for Krishna, then whatever service we are given, we will feel fully active. Whatever we are doing, we will do with full attention, and I should do this perfectly for Krishna. Whatever it is, I should do this nicely for Krishna. Chanting nicely for Krishna. Doing some service, doing something nicely for Krishna. Everything nicely for Krishna. So that is the thing we have to come to. That is spiritual strength. We need to have spiritual strength to do that. And last verse, this is how we will get that. How to elevate ourselves. ये लीला अमृता विने खाए यदि अन्न पाने तबे भक्तेर दुर्बल जीवन जार एक बिंदु पाने उत्फुल्लित तनु मने हास्य गाय करय नर्तन. Men become strong and stout by eating sufficient grains, but the devotee who simply eats ordinary grains but does not taste the transcendental pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna, that means he does not read, gradually becomes weak and falls down from the transcendental position. However, if one drinks but a drop of the nectar of Krishna's pastimes, his body and mind begin to bloom and he begins to laugh, sing and dance. All the devotees connected with the Krishna consciousness movement must read all the books, not some books. Yes, Prabhu, I'm reading. How much are you reading? 2 pages of Bhagavad every day. Enough. You're going to finish all Prabhupada books within your lifetime, like that, 2 pages. It will be greedy. So, I must read all the books that have been translated, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita and others. Otherwise, after some time, they will simply eat, sleep and fall down from their position. Thus, they will miss the opportunity to attain an eternal blissful life of transcendental pleasure. The main thing in devotional service is Mayarpita, Mano Buddhi. This is the main thing in devotional service. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu ma manusmara yuddhe cha Mayarpita Mano Buddhi. Our mana and buddhi must be arpita to Krishna first. Savai mana Krishna padar vandeyo, then vacham savai kuntagunana. Varnane karo harer mandiramar janadishu shrutam chakara chudakat satkathodaye. All these things will happen if our mind is in Krishna. Then automatically we want to do everything. Nobody needs to goad us. Hey, wake up. Or, hey, come for Mangalarti, come for class, come for this one, do this seva. No need to goad, prod with a stick. Please, do, stick. No need. You will know yourself what to do. Okay, stop here. Any questions or comments? Any questions or comments? No? Stop here. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna.